So Boris Johnson decided to weigh in on the discussion surrounding arms sales to Israel. And of course, he said nothing sensible. But, he was the former Prime Minister and Foreign Secretary. So unfortunately, what he says potentially carries a lot of weight, not that it should. Former Prime Minister Boris Johnson has said it is shameful to call for the UK to end arms sales to Israel. Writing in his Daily Mail column, he said it would be insane for the UK to end military support, which he said would be willing the military defeat of Israel and the victory of Hamas. He continued, "Remember that in order to win this conflict, Hamas only has to survive. All they need to do at the end is to hang on, rebuild, and go again." That's victory for Hamas, and that is what these legal experts seem to be asking for. Now, he made comments on the recent killing of WCK workers. He said this: "It was shattering to see the deaths, but Israel was sending warnings of their attacks and trying to use precision munitions." Now, he's actually correct here. Yes, they did use precision munitions because they were deliberately targeting aid workers in order to start Palestinians. Now, the legal experts he was referring to were 600 lawyers. Some used to be Supreme Court justices, and they wrote to the government calling for arms to be suspended to Israel on the basis that it risked breaking international law. Of course, they have. Now, who do we trust? Bumbling buffoon who got pissed up with his mates during COVID, or 600 lawyers? I know, it's a really tough one. Now, I think it's disgusting to describe stopping arms sales to Israel as shameful. It's shameful that we do sell arms to Israel. I think it's shameful to say that these legal experts are asking for victory for Hamas. Now, this isn't a conflict. I know we often refer to it as that. It's sort of simpler that way, isn't it, to try and describe the whole thing. But in reality, it's not. And it's not a war. A war is between two armies or two states, and it suggests there is a fairly even power dynamic. But that's not the case. What we have is a very powerful state backed by the West, including the US, the most powerful country on earth, and a militia army from a country that isn't even recognised as a state. Then you add in the fact that Israel has been occupying Palestine for 75 years. Now, the way Johnson and many others frame this is that Israel is up against a difficult terrorist organisation and they're trying their best to defeat them. That's not the goal. They are using Hamas as justification to claim all of Palestine as their own, whilst trying to eliminate the people. If you think this is just about defeating Hamas, well, I feel like there's nothing we can say anymore because it's been 6 months since the 7th of October. And if you still believe that, you have eaten up that propaganda. It's going to be very difficult for you to try and get out of. Now, Johnson used to be our Prime Minister. The role of that job, I think, is to take care of its citizens. Controversial, I know. But when Johnson and others who still support arms being sold to Israel, I don't think you can claim that you care about the people of this country after Israel straight up killed 3 British nationals. It's disgusting, isn't it? And even after that, Britain is so desperate to be the imperialist little shits. We never want to delineate from Washington because we are a bitch of the US. Now, I find it ironic when right-wing politicians who push xenophobic rhetoric and tough immigration policies, they talk about needing to care for our own over migrants and refugees. Well, here's an example right there. 3 British aid workers are dead. And when it comes down to it, oh wait, you don't care about our own. Israel's interests are more important than the British people. Now, for me as a progressive, I think everyone should have the same rights, whether you're a refugee, migrant, national, or born here, on the basis of being human. Having said that, don't believe these people when they say, oh, we need to take care of our own. It's always been about racist dog whistles. And I hope the response of our politicians to Israel killing 3 British people wakes people up. I hope it makes those who are more right-wing or tend to vote for more right-wing people who fall for that xenophobic crap pushed by our leaders realise it's all a load of crap. That being harsh on refugees and migrants isn't an aim to make your life better, but rather has and always be used as scapegoats. I just thought that was a really interesting juxtaposition. Now, the Lib Dems, the SNP and the Greens have called for arms to be suspended. Hats off to them. Even the Lib Dems, who are a party I don't particularly like, they are correct on this issue. Now, some backbench Labour and Tory MPs have also supported arms being blocked. And even New Labour grandee Jack Straw has come out against arms being sold to Israel, which I personally think that's kind of a shock. So I do think it kind of shows a tide is turning, but it's not enough because the government is still supporting it and Labour officially still supports it too. So if you haven't decided who you're voting for, you cannot vote Tory or Labour. They are complicit in the genocide of Palestinians. They are complicit in breaking international law and now are complicit in the killing of British nationals. And that's, I find, disgusting. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and drop a comment. It's good for the algorithm and I'm interested in what you have to say. If you're not already subscribed, please do and hit the notification bell. You can also support this channel by becoming a member for 99p per month. And if you're feeling a little more generous, then you can support us on Patreon for £3 or £5 per month. This channel for a while has been uploading every single day, and it's quite a lot of work that is still voluntary and scheduled around my paid work. But I have so much ambition, expect in the future to see more variety in content, such as interviews and Vox Pops. But I want this to be a fully fledged media organisation where not only is this my full-time job, but to have multiple people working for Turn Left. I like to see a live show in the future, more content that delves into culture, history, and much more. But that can only be done if there's money. So please, if you can, support us in any way that's in your capacity. And thank you to existing members, subscribers, and patrons. See you next time.